guys? TraderJud here, back with week 3 of the weekly crypto charting series, which I'm going to rename the Crypto Outlook series just to go with the Forex Outlook series that I do every week. This is very, very early on Wednesday morning that I'm recording this, and I will be uploading it later. As soon as I get done recording this, I am headed to the airport to fly out. So if I take longer than normal to get back to people, I will be traveling today, and I will be traveling on Saturday. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get started looking at Bitcoin USD. This week's candlestick is already bullish. Last week's candlestick was also bullish. And that was pretty much to be expected. You'll notice that I do have a couple of EMAs on here, the 8 EMA in blue and the 20 EMA in red. Those will be on all of the charts, but Bitcoin's weekly chart is showing bullish momentum, so that is good. Dropping down to the daily time frame, I've added a couple zones. This bottom zone based off of this candlestick, this top zone based off of this candlestick right here. And you'll notice the price is currently testing the bottom zone. We do have a bullish engulfing going into that zone, and we currently on the today's candlestick are bearish. Not anything too terribly concerning, not yet at least. We do have a couple of trend lines drawn as well. We'll notice the trend line break right here, and the trend line on the bottom acting as support. We could see some bearish movement, retesting this bottom trend line again before continuing upward. That would not be surprising to me. Dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, I've added a few more zones, redefined the zones, redrawn the zones appropriate to the 4-hour time frame. I do apologize, I can't go out far enough to show you either candlestick that these zones are drawn off of. I've added a couple of trend lines as well. So the arrows depict where I see this going. Price is pretty well captured right now, so we're just waiting for price to break out. We'll notice that this candlestick looks like it's rejecting the EMAs. The previous candlestick was a bearish engulfing candle. It does look like we're getting a retest of this bottom zone, however, so that is a good sign. We'll be waiting to see bearish momentum coming off of that zone, as well as breaking the trend line up above. The trend line up above, I do know, is based from the highest point to this candlestick, to this bearish engulfing candlestick wick, and so it's not a very strong trend line. It's more there for reference than anything else. But we should see, or hopefully we'll see, some bearish or bullish movement coming out of the rejection of this zone and going up, hopefully retesting this zone up here. But that's what I see for Bitcoin. We've seen good bullish momentum from Bitcoin, from all the cryptocurrencies, honestly, from all the major ones since I started doing this. So the first week that I did this was during these lows down here, which is that was really, really low. And then we've seen constant bullish movement since I started this, so that's a positive sign. But again, that's what I see with Bitcoin this week. So I'm going to move on to Ethereum weekly chart. Last week's candlestick was bearish engulfing. This week's candlestick looks like it might turn into a hammer. We are attempting to go through the EMAs right now, so that's something to look into. Dropping down to the daily time frame, I've added 2 trend lines. This trend line drawn right here is only the highest point, and then where price is currently at. It looks like we're attempting to see a bearish engulfing candle potentially, or either that or a rejection of the EMAs. I'm not sure which one yet, because that candlestick has not closed yet. I've drawn 2 zones. The lower zone is based off of this candlestick over here. The higher zone is based off of this bullish candlestick right here. Dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, you can see a little bit better on this. This bottom zone is based off of these wicks right here, and the body of one of those candlesticks, and then this top zone is based off of this the wick of the bearish engulfing candle and the body of the bullish candle to the left of that. There's also a horizontal line which is based off of all of these rejections to that one level. which is why it's represented as a horizontal line instead of a zone. So prices currently, we just had a very large bearish engulfing candle that engulfed a lot of that bullish momentum that started the week off. But it is, the current candlestick looks like it's attempting to reject the 20 EMA. And so what we're looking for with this, so we want to see a break of this this trend line drawn, right, which is based pretty much just a break of previous market structure with a retest of that structure before continuing upward to the next zone, or break and retest to the horizontal line, break and retest to the zone above that. At any point we could see bearish momentum take over to retest a trend line or a zone, what have you. And if we do see bearish momentum continue, then we'll be looking for a break of this trend line down here, a retest, and then a continuation down, possibly retesting the weekly trend line that was drawn. That's what I see for Ethereum this coming week. Ripple is up next. Last week's candlestick bullish engulfing through the EMAs. This week's candlestick so far looks like a hammer. Dropping down to the daily time frame, I've added only one zone and a couple of trend lines. The trend line that I have up here, price broke through and has not retested it yet, so we could be seeing a retest of that trend line. The bottom trend line is just a simple trend line to act as support for where price is right now. Dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, you notice that I added a horizontal line, a couple of other zones as well. This bottom zone based off of this candlestick right here, this top zone based off of this candlestick right here, and the body of the next candlestick to the right. We can see that price is currently in that zone. So we have a couple of different options with Ripple. The last candlestick was a bearish engulfing. It engulfed a significant amount of price, right? We were we tested 95 cents about 8 hours ago, or 8 to 10 hours ago, and now we're sitting right around 85 cents, somewhere in that range. So what we're looking for is either bullish momentum to continue, which would be a breakout of this zone and a retest, and then continuation upward to the horizontal line. If not, we're looking for a clear rejection of that zone to the downside, possibly a retest before continuing down and retesting the trend line that I had drawn on the daily time frame. That's what I see for Ripple this week. Next up will be the Litecoin. Last week's candlestick was bullish, much like the previous few weeks. Looks like this week is also turning into what could potentially be a bearish hammer, sitting right on the EMAs. Looking at the daily time frame, I have one zone drawn and a couple of trend lines drawn. Again, this trend line on the bottom is just acting as support. This zone is based off of this trend, or this candlestick right here, and then I have the trend line drawn right here based off of this point right here and this point right here. Current candlestick, today's candlestick, looks like it could potentially be a bearish engulfing candle, but that's not confirmed yet. Dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, I've added a couple of other zones, redefined some of the zones that were drawn on the daily time frame. So we have this bottom zone based off of the doji that happened about 10 hours ago or so. The zone above that is based off of this very large wick bearish candlestick over here, and then the top zone is based off of this large wick and the candle body next to it. Options with Litecoin, with the previous candlestick also being a very strong bearish engulfing candle, we'd be looking for a break down below and a retest of the trend line drawn, or a break above the zone drawn, a retest of that, and then a break of the weekly, or the daily trend line that's drawn, and then testing the zone that's above that trend line. That's what I've got for Litecoin. And moving on to the last pair, which is going to be Monero. Monero's candlestick last week was a very strong bullish engulfing candle. This week's candlestick is currently sitting looking like it could potentially be a hammer, much like all the other weekly time frames that I've looked at. So we'll have to wait and see how that weekly candlestick closes. The EMAs are crossing currently, and price is above the 2 EMAs, so that's a good sign for bullish momentum. Dropping down to the daily time frame, we can see that we've had a lot of bullish movement on Monero on the daily time frame. However, today's candlestick does look like it is going to be a bearish engulfing candlestick. I also have this zone drawn. It's based off of this candlestick right here, this bullish engulfing candlestick right here, the full body in the top of the wick, and we can see the price entered that, and it looks like it's going to clearly reject it. We also have 2 trend lines, the bottom trend line down here and the top trend line up here, where price could potentially test. Let's go ahead and drop down to the 4-hour time frame. These 2 zones, this zone is drawn off of where price was about 10 hours ago. The zone down below it is based off of market structure to the left, which we cannot see, and then there's a horizontal line drawn that is also based off of market structure to the left that cannot be seen. The last full candlestick that closed was a very, very strong bearish engulfing candle. Came in and currently is testing the zone drawn at the bottom. If we do get a break below that zone, we'd be looking for a retest and then a break of this trend line drawn. However, if it does reject, we'd be looking for price to break out of the zone up above where price is currently, and also breaking the daily trend line that is drawn, preferably breaking and retesting before continuing upward. That's what I've got for the 5 crypto pairs this week. Let me know if you've got any questions, any comments, any concerns. As always, my Telegram contact information is in the description down below. You can also leave a comment on this video if you have any questions. I do want to apologize for not having the video source figured out, as if you did not watch my Forex Outlook video this week, my webcam shorted out on me, and so I do not have any way of capturing a picture of myself like I normally do. I will be getting this fixed after I get back from my trip, but for right now this is going to have to do. I did want to get this video out. I thought about just not posting it, but that wouldn't be fair to any of the people that have been with me so far. And for those of you that have been with me since I started this channel, or since I started doing the crypto charting series, I want to thank you all for the continued support. If you did like this video, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. I have some other projects which we'll be completing towards the end of this week or the beginning of next. Including another Indicator 101 video, which will be over the RSI, and some other projects that we'll be launching next week. So very exciting stuff. Go ahead and, like I said, if you're not subscribed to the channel already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I will have the video source figured out next week, so by the Forex charting video, I will have some sort of video source figured out. But thank you guys again for all the continued support, and have a great week.